First contact. The holographic display in the Orbital Defense Center showed a cluster of unknown objects moving steadily toward Earth. Director Nadia Hassan stood motionless, her dark eyes fixed on the pulsing red dots. 3 decades at the helm of the Global Defense Initiative had prepared her for this moment, though she had always hoped it would never come. "Time to intercept," she asked, her voice calm despite the tension radiating through the command center. 17 hours, Director, replied Commander Julian West, his weathered face illuminated by the blue glow of his console. "They are slowing as they pass Jupiter. Almost as if they are studying it." Nardia nodded. "And our Oracle assets?" "All systems green. 97% of installations remain undetected according to our latest simulations. For 50 years, Project Oracle had been humanity's greatest secret. While the world saw modest space stations and a small defensive fleet, beneath the surfaces of moons, asteroids, and deep ocean trenches lay Earth's true military might, weapons platforms, stealth ships, and technologies reversed engineered from the fragments of extraterrestrial craft that had crashed throughout human history. "Alert all Oracle commanders," Nardia ordered. "Maintain blackout protocols but prepare for full activation. And get me President Hirano." Within hours, the visitors' intentions became clearer. A massive ship detached from the fleet and approached Earth's orbit while the others held position near Mars. It was elegant, crystalline structures extending from a central core that pulsed with emerald light. The first transmission came as the ship settled into Earth orbit. "Greetings, people of Earth. We are the Varaxian Collective. We come with peaceful intentions and wish to establish diplomatic relations." The alien that appeared on screens worldwide had iridescent skin that shifted between purple and green, 6 eyes arranged in a circle, and spoke through what appeared to be a translucent breathing apparatus. "I am High Emissary Zorkel," it continued. "We have observed your civilization for some time and believe the moment for formal contact has arrived." President Hirano, with Director Hassan at his side, led Earth's diplomatic response. A meeting was arranged aboard the International Space Station, neutral ground between the species. Commander West oversaw security. "I don't like this," he muttered to Nardia as they prepared. "They could have contacted us from Jupiter if they wanted dialogue. Why come so close first?" "That's why you're sending your best team with the diplomatic corps," she replied. "And why Oracle remains ready." The meeting seemed to go well. The Varaxians spoke of cultural exchange, shared scientific knowledge, and galactic community. They expressed particular interest in Earth's water resources, which they claimed were rare in their region of space. For 3 days, discussions continued while the world watched with a mixture of hope and apprehension. Then everything changed. The attack came without warning. The Kepler Lunar Research Base, home to 200 scientists and engineers, vanished in a flash of light visible from Earth. Simultaneously, smaller Varaxian vessels descended toward major cities. "It was a scout mission," West growled as alarms blared throughout the Orbital Defense Center. "They were mapping our defenses." Earth's visible military responded immediately. Fighter jets, orbital platforms, and the public space fleet engaged the attackers. They fought bravely but were overwhelmingly outmatched. The Varaxian weapons cut through Earth's apparent defenses like they were paper. In Moscow, London, and Beijing, alien ships hovered over terrified populations. In a transmission broadcast globally, Emissary Zorkel's tone had changed entirely. "Your planet possesses resources vital to the collective. Your resistance is noted but futile. Surrender your water reserves and rare minerals, and we will allow your species to continue existing as a protectorate. Refuse, and we will take what we need regardless." In the chaos, no one noticed Director Hassan and Commander West had disappeared from public view. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, they entered the true command center of Earth's defense. "They think we're beaten," Nardia said as she initiated her security protocols on a console that materialized from the floor. Around them, hundreds of officers worked at stations monitoring Earth's hidden defenses. "Activate Oracle. Authorization Hassan Alpha 7 Echo 9. Oracle activation confirmed," responded the AI system. "All units awaiting deployment orders." Across the solar system, what appeared to be dead satellites came to life. Asteroids split open, revealing fully armed battleships. The dark side of the moon illuminated as launch bays powered up. Deep ocean facilities released submersible carriers housing atmospheric fighters. The Varaxians scan what we wanted them to see, Julian said, studying the tactical display. Standard misdirection protocol worked perfectly. Deploy Phase 1, Nardia ordered. Defensive formations around all population centers. Phase 2 assets move to intercept positions but remain cloaked. Above major cities, the Varaxian ships prepared to launch their invasion when their sensors detected new energy signatures. Before they could react, weapons they hadn't detected fired from positions they hadn't seen. A Varaxian cruiser over New Delhi exploded as concentrated particle beams struck from 3 different hidden platforms. In the skies above Sydney, what had appeared to be commercial aircraft transformed, shedding their disguises to reveal state-of-the-art fighters that swarmed the alien vessel. They are regrouping, Julian reported as the tactical display showed the Varaxian ships pulling back from Earth. Main fleet is moving in from Mars. Estimated arrival, 40 minutes. Perfect, Nardia replied. They still don't understand what they are facing. Have Dr. Reyes ready the gravity disruptors. Dr. Emilio Reyes had spent 20 years perfecting weapons that could manipulate gravitational fields. As the Varaxian reinforcements approached Earth, they suddenly found themselves fighting not just against Earth's hidden fleet but against physics itself. Localized gravity wells pulled ships off course, while others experienced crushing gravitational forces that buckled their hulls. The battle for Earth's orbit was fierce. Oracle ships, constructed with technology decades ahead of what the public knew existed, engaged the Varaxians in formations that demonstrated years of preparation for this exact scenario. We've trained for this moment our entire careers, Julian told the fleet commanders. Execute Protocol Thunderstorm. Earth's ships moved with perfect coordination, using the moon's gravity to slingshot into attack positions while hidden weapon platforms on lunar bases provided covering fire. The Varaxians fought with determination but growing confusion as they encountered technologies they didn't expect humans to possess. In the command center, Lieutenant Fiona Takashi approached Director Hassan. We're detecting an energy buildup in the Varaxian mothership. It's massive, like nothing we've seen from their other weapons. Nardia studied the readings, her expression grim. They are preparing their contingency plan. Julian, what's the status of the Artemis protocol? Ready but untested, he replied. If it fails, Earth falls anyway, she interrupted. Alert President Hirano. The Varaxians are about to deploy a superweapon. On the main screen, they watched as the massive mothership's crystalline extensions rearranged themselves into what appeared to be a focusing array. Energy pulsed through the structures, building toward what could only be a planet-killing blast. All Oracle Phase 3 assets, deploy now, Nardia ordered. This is not a drill. From hidden bases throughout the solar system, Earth's most advanced vessels emerged, sleek, black ships that absorbed light rather than reflected it. At their center was the EDS Prometheus, humanity's first true interstellar warship. As the Varaxian superweapon charged, Earth revealed its final surprise. But would it be enough? Commander West looked at the tactical display showing the Prometheus moving into position. May God help us all, he whispered as the Varaxian weapon reached full power. The fate of humanity hung in the balance as the first day of the war reached its climax. Rising from ashes. 3 weeks after Earth's historic withdrawal from the interstellar conclave, Captain Harlow Reed stood on the bridge of the TCS Defiant, watching as strange energy readings flickered across his tactical display. The vessel, officially classified as a deep space research platform during Earth's conclave membership, now flew openly as the vanguard of humanity's newly revealed defense fleet. Another conclave patrol group at the heliopause, reported Lieutenant Marcus Okafor, his fingers dancing across the sensor console. That makes 15 vessels in the last 48 hours. They are probing our defenses, Harlow said, his voice calm despite the tension radiating through the bridge. Trying to map what we've hidden all these years. Commander Priya Verma, his executive officer, joined him at the tactical display. Her expression was grim as she studied the conclave formation. They are staying just outside our declared territorial boundary. Intimidation without technical provocation. Classic conclave tactics, Hado agreed. They want us to make the first move, to give them justification for a full-scale intervention. The conclave had responded to Earth's withdrawal with textbook predictability, economic sanctions, diplomatic isolation, and a steadily increasing military presence around the Sol system. Official broadcasts across conclave space portrayed humanity as dangerous renegades whose internal political instability threatened galactic peace. Captain, called the communications officer, priority transmission from Lunar Command. The holographic display at the center of the bridge shimmered, resolving into the image of Admiral Joaquin Ortega, commander of Earth's unified defense forces. His weathered face bore the strain of sleepless nights, but his eyes remained sharp and focused. Captain Reed, what's your assessment of our visitors? They are being careful, sir, Hado replied. Staying outside our boundary but mapping every centimeter of it. I count 7 capital ships among their formations, more firepower than they'd need for simple containment. We've detected similar activity at Alpha Centauri and Tau Ceti, Ortega confirmed. They are establishing a cordon around all human settlements. He paused. The Provisional Council has made its decision. We're initiating Phase 2. Hado exchanged a glance with Commander Verma. Phase 2, the activation of Project Phoenix, humanity's most closely guarded technological development. Understood, Admiral. Defiant stands ready. After the transmission ended, Hado gathered his senior officers in the tactical room adjacent to the bridge. The ship's AI dimmed the lights as a detailed hologram of the Sol system appeared above the conference table. Ladies and gentlemen, Hado began, in approximately 6 hours, Earth will unveil the first stage of our response to the conclave blockade. The Defiant will provide protective coverage for the Ganymede installation during activation. Commander Verma stepped forward. For those without Phoenix clearance, what we're about to deploy is a network of quantum displacement nodes, technology the Conclave has forbidden for centuries, claiming it destabilizes space-time. In reality, they've suppressed it because it renders their controlled hyperspace lanes obsolete. Our physicists have not only perfected the technology, added Dr. Naomi Watanabe, the ship's chief science officer, they've expanded its capabilities beyond anything the Conclave has conceived. Instead of navigating through hyperspace, we can create temporary folds in spacetime, allowing instantaneous travel between any 2 points where a node exists. Which means, Hado continued, the blockade the Conclave is so carefully constructing will become irrelevant. Within days, all human colonies will be connected through a network the Conclave cannot monitor, intercept, or control. The implications weren't lost on anyone in the room. For a century, the Conclave had maintained its power largely through control of interstellar travel routes. Worlds that stepped out of line found their hyperspace access restricted, their economies strangled by isolation. Earth's quantum displacement technology would shatter that leverage forever. Make no mistake, Hado said, his voice solemn, once we activate the Phoenix network, the Conclave will consider it an act of technological terrorism. They will respond with force. But for the first time, we'll be fighting on our terms, not theirs. As the Defiant moved into position near Jupiter's moon Ganymede, tension throughout the ship reached palpable levels. Everyone understood the historical significance of what they were about to witness, and the dangers it would unleash. At their hidden facility beneath Ganymede's surface, scientists and engineers who had worked in secret for decades made final adjustments to the primary node. Similar preparations were underway at concealed installations throughout human space, facilities that had operated under the guise of mining operations or research outposts, always hidden from Conclave inspectors. Captain, Lieutenant Okafor called out, energy spike at the Ganymede facility. Phoenix activation sequence has begun. Hado watched as a shimmering field of quantum particles erupted from the facility, expanding outward in a sphere of blue-white energy. The field pulsed once, twice, then stabilized into a translucent dome over the installation. Phoenix Prime is online, announced Dr. Watanabe, unable to keep the excitement from her voice. Node synchronization commencing. Across human space, identical energy fields manifested around hidden installations. On Earth's monitors, they appeared as a network of brilliant points connected by gossamer threads of quantum entanglement, a web that bypassed conventional space altogether. On the conclave monitoring vessels, alarms blared as sensors detected massive energy patterns unlike anything in their databases. Frantic communications between patrol ships and conclave command reflected growing panic as they realized something extraordinary was unfolding before them, something outside their understanding or control. The response came swiftly. Within 12 hours, High Speaker Vormuth addressed an emergency session of the Conclave Council, his scales darkened to deep purple with rage. The renegade Earth government has deployed prohibited quantum manipulation technology throughout their territories, he declared. This represents not merely a violation of conclave technological restrictions, but a direct threat to the stability of spacetime itself. The Council hereby authorizes immediate military intervention to neutralize these dangerous installations. In the observation gallery, Ambassador Dominic Reeves, invited to witness the proceedings as a final diplomatic courtesy, listened without surprise. He had expected nothing less. When the session concluded, he found himself approached by Calvas, a representative of the Arcturian collective, a species that had always maintained more cordial relations with humanity. They fear what they cannot control, Ambassador, Calvas said quietly, the luminous patterns beneath his translucent skin shifting in what Dominic recognized as concern. But some of us question whether the conclave's path remains true to its founding principles. The conclave was founded on noble ideals, Dominic acknowledged. Cooperation, mutual protection, shared knowledge. But over millennia, it transformed into something else, an instrument for the established powers to maintain their advantage over emerging species. Calvas nodded subtly. There are more worlds than you might imagine watching Earth's defiance with interest, Ambassador. Perhaps even with hope. The conversation was brief but significant. Earth was not as isolated as the conclave leadership believed. 5 days after Phoenix activation, the conclave launched its first direct assault. A battle group of 12 warships approached the human colony on Tau Ceti, expecting to find a vulnerable settlement cut off from Earth's support by the blockade. Instead, they encountered a fully prepared defense force backed by technology they couldn't comprehend. When the conclave vessels opened fire, targeting the colony's quantum node, their weapons met an impenetrable shield of phase-shifted matter, another technology humanity had developed in secret. Return fire from the colony's defense platforms wasn't the crude plasma weapons the conclave expected, but precisely focused graviton beams that disabled 5 conclave vessels without destroying them. The remaining ships retreated in disarray, their commanders shocked by both the colony's unexpected capabilities and the deliberate non-lethality of the human response. Similar scenarios played out across human space as the conclave tested defenses and found them far beyond anything they had anticipated. On Earth, the Provisional Council, formed to guide humanity through the transition to independence, convened in the ancient chambers beneath Geneva. Representatives from all human settlements participated either in person or through quantum projection, creating the first truly unified human government in history. The Terran Coalition of Free Worlds, announced Council President Lydian Gasser, formalizing the name that would represent humanity going forward. Not an empire, not a hegemony, but a coalition of equals bound by shared heritage and mutual respect. In her address to Earth's population, broadcast across human settlements, she outlined the principles of this new coalition: technological freedom, mutual defense, open exchange of knowledge, and respect for the sovereignty of all sentient species. We did not choose separation lightly, she declared. For over a century, we attempted to work within the conclave's framework, to reform it from within. But systems designed to preserve power rarely reform themselves. Sometimes, progress requires breaking from the past. Throughout coalition space, humanity embraced its newfound independence with creativity and determination. Research previously constrained by conclave restrictions flourished. Trade between human settlements increased tenfold through the instantaneous Phoenix network. Cultural exchanges that had been filtered through conclave censors now flowed freely, creating a renaissance of human expression. But the conclave was not finished. After 2 months of failed probing attacks and diplomatic isolation, they prepared their ultimate response, the the Purification Fleet, a massive armada of 100 capital ships with planet-killing capabilities, assembled from the combined forces of the core conclave worlds. High Speaker Vormith himself took command, determined to make an example of Earth that would discourage any other worlds considering defiance. The fleet's destination was not Earth itself, but the vulnerable colony on Europa, Jupiter's ice-covered moon. The message would be clear: defy the conclave, and your people will pay the price. As the Armada approached the Sol system, humanity monitored its progress without visible alarm. The coalition leadership had anticipated this escalation and prepared accordingly. On the Defiant, now stationed near Europa, Captain Hado Reed addressed his crew. The conclave believes they understand what we're capable of. They've adjusted their tactics based on our previous encounters. What they don't realize is that we've shown them only a fraction of what we've developed. When the conclave armada emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Jovian system, they found not the scattered defense they expected, but a formation of 50 vessels unlike any they had encountered before. Spherical in design, without visible propulsion systems or weapons emplacements, the ships hung motionless in space. Aboard the conclave flagship, High Speaker Vormith studied the strange formation with contempt. "Another human bluff," he declared. "Commence the attack pattern. Target their quantum node first, then their defensive infrastructure." The conclave vessels opened fire, massive energy beams converging on the human formation. But instead of impacting the ships or their shields, the beams simply vanished, absorbed into what appeared to be localized distortions in space itself. "Gravitational lensing," whispered Dr. Watanabe on the Defiance bridge, watching the data stream from the Coalition's newest defense system. "They are firing into micro-singularities we've positioned throughout the engagement zone. Their own weapons are being redirected into subspace." For 20 minutes, the conclave fleet poured devastating firepower into the human formation without effect. Then, without warning, every conclave vessel simultaneously lost power, weapons, engines, life support systems momentarily failing before emergency backups engaged. From the human fleet, a single transmission was broadcast to every ship in the conclave armada, translated into all their languages. The holographic image of Admiral Ortega appeared on every command deck. "High Speaker Vormith, this demonstration represents only one application of technologies we have developed despite your restrictions. We could have destroyed your fleet. Instead, we chose to disable it temporarily. Consider this both a warning and an invitation, a warning that the era of conclave domination is ending, and an invitation to imagine a different relationship between our civilizations." As power gradually returned to the conclave vessels, a second, unexpected transmission reached the High Speaker's flagship. It originated not from Earth, but from within the conclave fleet itself. One by one, representatives from 17 member species appeared in a joint broadcast, species that had, like humanity, found themselves marginalized within the conclave hierarchy. "The Terran Coalition has extended alliance offers to all worlds seeking more equitable relationships than the conclave provides," announced the Arcturian representative, Kelvos. "Many of us have accepted. This is not a revolution, High Speaker, it is an evolution. The galaxy is changing. The conclave can change with it, or it can fade into history." Aboard the Defiant, Hado watched as the conclave fleet slowly regrouped, then, remarkably, began withdrawing from the Jovian system. "They are retreating," Commander Vermeer said, her voice reflecting the crew's astonishment. "For now," Hado replied. "But this isn't the end, it's the beginning. The question is, the beginning of what?" As humanity's unexpected allies from within the conclave arrived through the Phoenix network for the first diplomatic summit of the new coalition, that question hung in the air. Would this be the beginning of a prolonged conflict between competing galactic powers? Or could it become something more revolutionary, the first step toward a genuinely equitable interstellar community? The stars no longer seemed cold or distant. They beckoned with possibility, with futures unwritten and paths unexplored. And humanity, finally free to follow its own course, stepped forward to meet them.